Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking on today's video, guys. So on today's video we will be looking at deportation proceedings here in the United States of America. I know we've been hearing so much about ICE deportation, and so guys, the deportation proceedings is also known as like a removal from the USA. But guys, before we get into this video, if you've not subscribed, please endeavor to subscribe, guys. Please subscribe to our channel and remember to pump hearts, do like our videos. And with that said and done, guys, let's get into our video. So deportation can be triggered for several reasons. This may include violating visa terms, overstaying, or working without authorization, guys. That could cause you to be deported. So those are one of the reasons why you can be deported. Another reason why you can be deported is committing certain crimes, especially aggravated felonies. That is point number 2. The third point, guys, is being found inadmissible to the US, such as entering without inspection or with fraudulent documents. That too could cause you to be deported. Another point is failing to comply with immigration laws or requirements. If you don't want to comply, definitely you'll be deported. So the next one is notice to appear. That's NTA. So guys, if the government decides to begin deportation proceedings, they issue a notice to appear. I have said that in one of my videos. This document outlines the reason the person is subject to removal, and it officially starts the legal process. Hope that one makes sense. So guys, the NTA is filed with the Executive Office for Immigration Review, the body that oversees immigration court. You can transfer assets like money or property abroad before your deportation. However, guys, they will be notified of the date, location of the hearing. So if you have a hearing, guys, please endeavor to show up for your hearing. So at the hearing, the person will be informed of the charges against them and their rights. Also, they may seek representation from immigration lawyers. Guys, if you have a hearing, as I said, please appear for your hearing. So the next is defense and relief options. At the hearing, the person may present defense to removal, e.g. asylum claims, cancellation of removal, or adjustment of status if eligible. Also, they may also request forms of relief such as asylum if fearing persecution in their home country. That too, they could ask for that. And also withholding of removal. I think another thing to look forward to is temporal protective service, which is called TPS. If they are eligible to become permanent residents, yes. So that's why most people say what they have is TPS. So that means they're allowed to work. Voluntary departure, where the individual agrees to leave voluntarily, often with a grace period. So you might agree to leave and then they give you a certain period of time for you to leave the country by then. The fifth point, the judge's decision. After reviewing the case and any evidence, the judge will render a decision. If the judge orders deportation, the person will be removed from the USA. So keep that in mind, guys. And also, if the judge grants relief, the individual may be allowed to stay or adjust their immigration status. Appeal process. If the individual disagrees with the judge's ruling, they can appeal the decision to the Board of Immigration Appeals, that is the BIA. The BIA, they review cases and its decisions can either uphold or reverse the judge's ruling. So keep that in mind too. If the BIA denies the appeal, the person can sometimes seek judicial review by appealing to a federal court. The next point is deportation order. So if the judge decision is upheld, the Department of Homeland Security, that's DHS, issues a formal deportation order. This order will detail when and how the person must leave the United States of America. DHS may detain the individual in an immigration detention facility until they are removed. So guys, these are just some things to keep in mind, the procedures and everything. So the next part is removal from the USA. So all of these that I've been telling you, like, at the point of the procedures on how it goes. So once the deportation order is final, DHS will arrange for individuals removal from the US. This could be by land, sea, or by air. So depending on the case, the individual may be allowed voluntary leave the US, or they may be physically escorted to their home country by immigration officials. So the reentry ban. After deportation, the individual is typically barred from re-entering the US for a period of time that usually is about from 5, 10, or 20 years. or permanently, depending on their circumstances. So in some cases, the person may apply for a waiver to leave the band, so you're always free to apply for a waiver. So deportation removal under special circumstances. For instance, if a case such as a certain criminal offense, the individual may face expedited removal or may be detained during the process. Some people may be eligible for deferred action or DACA. So I hope you've watched the other video so you understand what this means. So this means deferred action for children's arrivals if they meet specific criteria. Each deportation case can differ depending on individual circumstances. So all cases are not the same. Every case is different on the individual circumstances, including the reason for their deportation, their legal status, and whether they have legal representation or apply for a release. So the next question I'll be asking is what happens to my property if I've been deported? Definitely everybody would think that. So if you're deported from the United States, the status of your property, including your money in the bank, depends on various factors, including how long you have been in the US and the specifics of your case. So here's what generally happens to your property if you are being deported. So the first one is personal property. This can either be like physical possessions. You may be allowed to arrange for your personal belongings to be shipped to your home country, guys. Typically the US government does not handle this for you, so definitely you have to handle it by yourself. You have to make those arrangements by yourself. Like you can, family or friends can do that. The next thing is you can put them in a storage. If you're detained and there's time before your deportation, you may be able to store your personal items, so that too is another option. However, if you have no one to help your belongings might be seized and some could be discarded. So that's why I was saying that if you have friends or families, they can take care of that for you. Bank accounts and money in the US. So what will happen if you get deported with your bank accounts and your money in the US? So bank accounts will generally remain active even if you're deported. However, if your deportation is tied to legal issues like criminal activities or immigration fraud, your account may be subject to investigation. Yes. If you were deported and plan to permanently leave, you should consider closing your bank account or transferring your money before leaving the country or before departure. That is what you should do. So, and the next thing is you're going to be asking, so how do you access your funds if you're being deported? So you may not have access to your US bank account, especially if your account is linked to your US address or if your account cannot physically present in your country to manage it. In such cases, you can transfer your funds to a family member or friend in the US, and that way when you get back to your home country, they can always send them to you. So another thing is also they use the online banking system. You can do like a bank-to-bank transactions. If you have access to your bank remotely, you can request that the bank wires your money to an account in your home country, which is something I do all the time. When I go home, I do bank-to-bank transactions, so because I use the online services. Also, real estate and property ownership. I know you'll be asking yourself, so what will happen if you own property in the US? You may still retain ownership unless the property is subject to foreclosure or legal action due to non-payment or other issues. So you will need to make arrangements to sell, yes, or to transfer ownership of property either before deportation or after, depending on your situation. If you cannot manage your property remotely, you can appoint someone like a power of attorney to take care of your property for you while you are away. And another question is, or the third thing we're going to be looking at is debts and obligations. So what will happen to your debts and obligations? You will remain responsible for any financial obligations you have in the US, e.g. mortgage, loans, bills, and taxes. You still have to do all that. If you are deported, it is crucial to address this before leaving if possible. If you have any debt or ongoing obligation, creditors may still pursue you for payment even after you're deported, depending on the agreement and the terms of your debts. The fact that you're leaving the country does not mean that your debts will just be forgotten, you know. So the next point we're going to look at is tax and financial records, how deportation will affect that. So ensure you keep track of your tax filings before leaving. Even if you are deported, the IRS may still require you to file taxes in the US if you have income or financial ties within the country. So file before you leave. File before you leave, before you're deported, so you're up to date. You should consult a tax advisor for guidance on your obligations. Yeah. Next point is transferring assets. How do you transfer assets? You can transfer assets like money or property abroad before your deportation. However, guys, large transfers of money may raise questions from immigration. From immigration authorities or financial institutions, and it is essential to make sure you comply with US and international laws regarding transfers. So our next point, we are going to look at inheritance and legal matters. If you are an heir or have legal claims to property or an inheritance in the US, your deportation doesn't affect those rights directly. However, managing those affairs from abroad may be difficult and require legal assistance. So you could maybe get a power of attorney, so for somebody to do that for you. So guys, to summarize everything, deportation doesn't automatically strip you, right? It doesn't strip you of your property or financial assets, but it may be complicated managing them. And it is also important to make arrangements for your property, bank accounts, very important, and financial obligations before or as soon as possible after deportation to avoid legal complications. So guys, we've come to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask down in the comment sections. Remember to like, remember to subscribe, and yeah guys, see you all on my next one. Bye.